Hello everyone, we have our news for the week, so let's take a look. Maintenance, normal time as usual. Ending with maintenance this week is Clash of Wills, so get your score runs in if you haven't finished that before maintenance. Hopping Mad Challenge and the Hoppy New Year King Mog event is ending. The King Mog event does have that instrument that you can upgrade to let anybody cure breaks, and it also has the ailment cures, which we do have other ways to give that to anybody. But if you don't have the pause, the break cures for anybody is going to be really useful. And then also the Sephiroth Master Crown challenges are ending. And if you haven't run through those, definitely do that before maintenance. We get the crowns to maximize one Sephiroth for free, plus the final one unlocks a Magnus for all versions of Sephiroth, which is his 150 Dark Magnus. And that's definitely worth getting, even if you don't quite have Sephiroth or he's only EX 0 or 1 or something. And then this week we are getting two Neo Visions. We're getting our Summer Runda and Fina. So we have login for that, usual 30 shards each. No premium unit there, so with the shop, their shards are in the shop. We get our monthly fragment tickets. They're going to be added to the pool this week. Dark Visions is starting, so that means we get our Dark Vision tickets. We'll have some free for login. There's a bundle to get some more. And they did better this time than the last time for the Neo Vision, so our choices for Neo Vision and Summon in there, Cecil, Emperor, Lulu, and Ruse. So the first three are quite useful. Cecil does pretty decent damage, plus he's a good magic tank. And he also has that nice LB field for the party only in a base form that autocasts. Emperor and Lulu are good breakers for their elements. They get the 160 in perils and everything. Ruse is okay. And then as far as the NVA choices, Gilgamesh is still pretty okay for like just breaking and random stuff there. As far as damage, he doesn't really do that much. Star Player Titus is decent still for an SLB finisher. Shadow Lord is okay. Mostly use him for his mitigations to do certain things here. But the Neo Vision pool is definitely better than the last Dark Visions that they ran. And we have a 48 million download celebration going. So we have daily login stuff, just a bunch of tickets, Lapis. We're getting some Mystery Crystal in there, Transcension Pearl, some 110 NV tickets. And it looks like 21 total days to log in and get something there. They're also giving us a weekly NV guaranteed 10 summon, which is really nice. And we'll get 6 total weeks of that. So free summons is always nice, especially when they're guaranteed to have at least one Neo Vision in there. The rest of the stuff for their celebration is the normal, so half energy, all chambers, and half awakening. And they're running their fragment step up, and this time for the 48 million, step 6, they're giving away a NV choice ticket essentially. So, not sure exactly how current the list is going to go because they don't really list. I mean, they have Tsukiko, Cecil, and Barrett listed there. So we'll have to see exactly who we can choose from. But if you go through that, you'll be able to choose an NV at the end there. And as usual, step 6, curated pool, just means premium units. Other than that, it's the same step up that we always see pretty much every month for fragment tickets. And we are getting a new thing, the Log Quartz Exchange. So it's just an extra shop. So starting off, we'll have to see if they update this and how this goes. But 50% Super Trust Moogle, 50% regular Trust Moogle. Emperor Cactors times 2. Transcension Pearl, the Cactor cards for Vision cards, Omni Prisms, just regular King Cactors and Gil Snappers. And then we'll be able to get the currency from a special event that's starting this week and other events in the future. So we'll have to see what other events they run. And they are doing some special bundles, although renamed. A lot of them are similar. Like the first one, pretty much bundle that we've seen before. You get a crown, crystal, ticket, and some energy pots. And then they're doing a 16,000 lapis and a premium Neovision summon ticket You don't get to choose the unit though. So that's going to be a random summon on that ticket. And then we get our fragment bundle, so you get 13,000 lapis, 5 fragment tickets, and a 10+1 ticket. And then the fountain of lapis is coming back. And then Blue Mage Fina is getting some updates. Some of them are pretty decent. They'll help her out overall. So the biggest one is going to be her Crowning Veil, probably, which is her Light Imbue for the party. So fully maxed out, it's going to be a Light Imbue with a 40% light boost for the party and 160 Fairy Killer. So, I mean, as far as using her in the past, that's pretty much the ability that I've used her for, a Light Imbue plus Fairy Killer. So that getting boosted is quite nice. They're giving her some stat boosts as well. And then some of her spell chaining moves are getting updated. Changing them to actually chain instead of be like single hits or random hits. So one will go to bolting, the other will go to Mira. And then her stat buffs are getting boosted to 200% stat buff. The resist on those is staying 60%. And then she'll get auto LB fill, and her shifted limit is going to get boosted as well. I think that goes up to like a 230 modifier. And then she'll get her static attack and spirit at EX3. So decent little boost for her. Will help her out a little bit. I mean, it's not going to bring her up to meta that much, but I mean, she'll still be useful. And we take a look at the vision card. So both units share the same vision card. So maxed out, 110 attack and magic. And then we get a 75 aquatic killer, 75 fairy killer, and beast killer. And that's about it on the card. So, I mean, for killers, it can be useful if you need the killers. If you don't need the killers, you're going to probably be using a static attack or magic card. So then we have the special event for Blue Mage Fina. So Friends in the Making, this will let us get the Master Crowns for free to upgrade Fina so that we don't have to waste any actual resources. The unique thing here is so far all the Master Crown challenges have been limited to a certain series. So her event is a little bit more limited, where we're limited to these Season 3 story units, essentially. So we won't be able to bring just any Brave Exvius, we have to just use the Season 3. So hopefully it's not too bad, because, I mean, most of those units are NVAs. There's just a couple of Neo Vision base units, not counting the 2 that we get this week. But that's going to be the same as all the other challenges that we've seen. So we'll run through that and see how hard that is. And then we have our Fighting Back Memories. So this is where we're going to get our special log quartz for the new shop that they're introducing. This looks like we're just going to be fighting old bosses. So the main question here is, are they just bringing them back exactly how they were? Because if they do, a lot of these bosses are kind of power crept. So we'll have to see if they boost them at all to make up for that, or if they're just bringing back the old fights exactly as they were. So it looks like there should be at least 5 different fights here. When they've done this before, they usually do like a gauntlet. So you go through the different difficulties. Each difficulty adds one more boss to the mix, where the final one is you fight all the bosses in a row. But we'll have to see if they're actually doing that with this or not. And then we have our Dark Visions information. So day 1, everything except for the last 2 areas unlocks. So the first 2 areas are physical or magical. And we get lightning and wind, or ice and wind. So wind works for both, actually, which is interesting. And then the next 2, we have a magical, lightning, earth, or light team. And then a physical, lightning, wind, or light. So every time they do that, they usually boost the stats, so you really need to use the magical or physical attacks. We'll see just how that is or not. Nothing new really added this one. I didn't see any new weapons listed, so we're not getting our next set of two-hander weapons, it looks like. So we'll have to wait a little bit more for the new weapons. And we can take a look at the actual banner. So they're not doing anything special. It's going to be the Armory Summon, and they not adding any new items to the Armory ticket that I can see. So standard there, and then you run through, and you get 2 tickets per step on the other thing. So up first is Fina. She is a super limit burst unit. So her super is an accessory. 80 magic, 30% fire resist. For just her, she'll get the 500 flat magic. Everybody else will get the human and fairy killer by 50%, which isn't that bad. And then her regular trust is clothing, 60 magic there, 75% fairy killer. Overall, that's going to be used just if you need the extra killer. I mean, we have a lot of clothing or chest slots that are a lot higher on the magic there. And then for Runda, he's also a super limit burst unit. He's listed as a buffer and physical attacker. So we have his super accessory with 75 attack, 30% water resist. So for just Runda, he'll get the 500 flat attack from it. Everybody else can get the 50% Reaper and Aquatic Killer. So as far as an accessory goes, that's not bad. And then his regular trust is a Materia. 50% attack and 50% Aquatic Killer. We don't have that much Aquatic Killer stuff when it comes to Materias that actually have other stats on it, so that's not too bad overall. But aside from that, we're not going to be using that too much probably. And we can take a look at what they look like on the JP side, as I'm not seeing anything listed that says global boosts, just new ally and new ally. So we should get them exactly as they show there. So we can take a look at Fina first. So she does get a Magnus with a 150 water boost for herself, 2 turns obviously. She has a store, have to cast multiple times, so 50% maxes out at a 300%. LB fill that like every unit has nowadays, at least all the new ones coming out. She does have a cooldown, which will boost her lightning and water damage 30%. 80x modifier for her limit burst and a 300% magic store, so that's not that bad. Let's see, bolting move, only 150 modifier. Physical attack with magic damage. I mean, if you need to get a chain score up or something, or just doing it for the lightning and water and peril, not going to be using that for her main damage, really. 150 Fairy Killer to the team, which isn't bad. Re-raise on a Magnus, only 1 use, that's okay. Quad Black Magic. As far as passives go, she's double hand. She does have the 100 chain cap. She's got the standard a range of killers, essentially. Average of 5. She has, what, 6? She gets 200x modifier to some of her spells. The FFBE is the Graviton move. She does have some water and lightning magic, so she does have the Graviton move. Flood, Chaos Wave, just for the elements. She has a little bit of Cure, and she gets Revive. She doesn't actually get any heal, though. And then as far as the limit burst goes, base limit burst, bolting chains, 25 bow down, 130 water and peril, 200 limit boost, and a 200x water magic modifier. And then the super version, bow and peril goes to 30%, still only 130 on the imperil though. and it goes up to 330 modifier. And then if her cooldown does add an 80x modifier, so I mean her main damage is probably going to be the 150 water boost with the 80 modifier on her super burst. Overall, not bad, pretty standard for units that we've been getting lately. I mean, she's usable. She'll do quite a bit of water damage with that one burst there. And then we might be able to pair her up with like Sakura for the Graviton, because Sakura, I believe, can give somebody else like a 400x modifier on that, and then she has her passive too. So that might be a fun to use as well. And then we have Runda. So the main thing I see wrong with Runda is he doesn't have any multicast. So he can only do one action per turn, and he doesn't have that much. So he does do 300 attack and magic buff and 250 limit damage with 150 aquatic killer for 5 turns. It's cooldown. You can use it on the first turn, so that helps him a little bit. He can imbue the party with 3 different elements. However, he'll only boost one and himself 60%, which 60% is pretty decent overall, but he doesn't give any boost to the rest of the party. And it's only for 2 turns, so you do this for your setup and then you chain or whatever to deal you damage. But he does do Dark, Earth, and Fire. As far as chain moves, everything's listed to be multicast chainer. So he's got one for Bolting, Chaos, Stardust, and Absolute Mirror. Everything is listed as physical damage, 450 modifiers, and 550 on the mirror. I mean, overall, that's kind of low because he's only single casting. And when you look at having like 250 modifier triple cast, he does have the usual spread of killers, which pretty much every unit does have. Double hand unit, 100 chain cap there. He does get static 1500 attack, which will help with his trust. He gets some spells, so he gets protect and a barrier. The barrier is not bad, 10,000 barrier. But again, he can only do one thing at a time, although if you give him dual cast, he'll be able to cast both of those on the same turn. And for his limit burst, so both are damage bolting chains. So base limit, 25 gun down and a 200x physical modifier. And then the super is 35 gun down with a 330 physical modifier. And he doesn't have anything that actually adds a LB modifier in his kit that I can see. So he doesn't boost that anymore, it's just 330. Although I guess you could give him Titus's garb and get the 100 there. So he'll probably do decent with his LB. And being able to 60% boost somebody else could be handy as well. But overall, he'll probably be a little bit to get used to rotation-wise, as he'll be doing one move at a time every turn. So it'll take him minimum of 1 turn if you got somebody else doing the buffs. He'll need 2 turns to get fully ready if he's doing the stat buff. And then his main damage is definitely going to be his limit burst. The chain modifiers, even though they look high, are actually not that high because it's only a single cast. When you pair it up against multicasting like 250 modifiers or 300 modifiers. And that's pretty much all the news that we have for the week. So as far as pulling, I'll use my EX tickets this week. We'll see what kind of luck, if I can get somebody useful. I wouldn't mind having Fina show up. We'll see how that goes, but we'll just do EX tickets and see what happens there. Anybody that does decide to pull, good luck to you. So we're going to end this video here. Hope everybody enjoyed.